Welcome, Earth Signs. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Emily Gear. I'm a transformative energy healer and multidimensional channel. I am doing your weekly reading. Normally I do all the signs separately, but I am doing elements this week. So since we all, for the most part, have these elements active in our chart somewhere, I would definitely recommend checking out all 4 of the element readings to see what resonates the most for you. And there will also be an extended reading for romantic relationships, and the link to that is in the description box below, and those are also separated by element. If you're interested in a private reading with me or a healing session or akashic records session, you can schedule that on my website, which is IamEmilyGear.com. So I've just had some cards jump. I'm going to hang on to them because I hadn't actually made the request, but I already set in my mind the intention upon recording this video that this is going to be for the week ahead for the Earth signs, which are Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. And we just want to find out what energies are coming in for us this week. We are just starting Leo season, and that played heavily in the fire sign reading. So let's see what wants to come out here for Earth signs. And what we started with are the 3 of Cups with the Wheel of Fortune. 3 of Cups with the Wheel. Sorry, my camera just does not focus on these cards anymore. I'm gonna have to figure out what to do about that. But until then, I'm feeling like you guys can be pretty heavy at times. I mean, it's that earth energy. It's slower moving than others. And this can be very serious. So I feel like you might be entering into a slightly lighter time here this week with the 3 of Cups and the Wheel showing up. This feels to me like some celebrating or some joy. Maybe you're doing going to some kind of events or social, some kind of social situation is coming in. Now we have the Prince of Cups coming up. So I feel like there are going to be situations in which you will be able to connect with people that you care about, that you enjoy, that you like. Lighthearted. It's feeling like lighthearted, somewhat social interactions with people. This feels like connecting with people in a lighthearted and joyful way. So that's something we could all use about now after the heaviness of the last few weeks. And it feels like, okay, so this is just for the week, but with the Wheel of Fortune sort of showing up here, I almost feel like it is bigger than just a week. I feel like it's sort of a turn of events, kind of brings you into a more lighthearted kind of chapter in your life. Okay, this is also coming up. So if you have been thinking about starting a romantic relationship, or not even just that, it could be that you will change your focus a little bit. You're changing your focus a little bit to be more centered on the things that bring you joy. I feel like there's been so much heaviness that you might have actually made a conscious decision to have a date night, to spend more time with the people you love, to go out meeting new people, to prioritize your relationships over your work or over your more routine responsibilities or cleaning or all those things that Earth signs just love. So I can say that because I'm Virgo rising, so I know what Earth signs love. I just feel like this lighter approach to life, which is very much needed at this time. And it's not even just like what you're doing in a day. I almost feel like this full shift of saying, well, this stuff is important too. It's important that I give my relationships attention. It's important that I take leisure time. It's important that I take rest. It's important that I play with my kids or my pets. So I feel like there is this really necessary balancing. That's what it's feeling more like. It's almost like balancing out where you were terribly imbalanced toward the drudgery and the things that you were obligated to do. Strength is coming up here. That feels like, sorry, my chair is squeaking on my desk. That feels like I almost feel like there's the relief, there's a sense of relief that I'm feeling, and that's coming in with this Leo season. It may take a degree of self-control and inner strength in order to tear yourself away from, okay, here we are back with the habitual mindset that came up, that played so prominently in the fire sign reading. So it's like, it might take some actual strength to tear yourself away from this habitual workaholic type behavior, or behavior where you might focus on the glass half empty, or focusing on what could go wrong instead of focusing on the joy of relating to people and the joy of community, the joy of romance, the joy of relationship, the joy of play, the joy of children, all of that stuff. And I always throw in pets too, because my pets are my children. Laugh at me if you want. I don't care. So yeah, there is a degree of that. I'm also feeling, just because in this card, which you can't see because my camera is disappointing in this aspect, the girl is like, she's like cuddling up to a lion who looks like devoted to her. And I just feel like there is this childlike innocence that, what is this? What is this feeling? It's a childlike devotion. It's a childlike innocence. And so I think that there is a return to that a little bit too. It's not the Six of Cups, but it's a similar feeling that I'm getting from this card. Maybe it's because of my connection to pets and animals, but it feels like that devotion between a pet and a human. It's otherworldly. It defies logic sometimes, and it's so innocent and primal and perfect. And I feel like that is the kind of joy that you are reconnecting with. What else, please, for the earth signs for the coming week? Okay, we have the Empress with the Five of Swords and the Page of Swords. What is this about? I do feel like I'm hearing the word overcoming. I feel like there's this sense of it's like unconditional love overcoming this need to separate yourself, this need to feel better than others, this need to compete with others, outcompete people, win the rat race, win the war, win the match, win the client. I think it's this understanding that okay, so that paradigm is important, or has been important in the past. It is no longer valid, that paradigm where we compete with each other for resources. Resources are infinite at this time. And that's not to say that, like, specifically the Earth's resources are infinite and we should just use and abuse it. That's not it at all. This is the resource of energy, the resource of unconditional love. That is infinite. And that is the resource that we are asked to focus on at this time. That is the resource you are tapping into and using as you make these connections with people from a place of vulnerability and from a place of purity, and purity meaning not in the like virginal sense, but in the childlike sense. I'm feeling this sense of leaving behind the non-innocence of the rat race in favor of the abundant, purely expansive, unconditionally loving nature of the Empress. This is love abounds. This is all-encompassing. It's nurturing. It's this nurturing love that is developing. I feel it very much on a platonic level. Like, I feel like you are beginning to understand, come in contact with, and rearrange your own energy to match this vibration that we're being called into. It's a very big energy. And it does relate to Leo and the heart and the sun. This energy is very expansive like the sun. It's very warm like the sun. It's very heart-based like Leo. And so this may simply be your entrance into Leo season. The fire signs talked all about a heart awakening. And for you, it feels similar, but it almost feels like it's almost on a more nurturing level, an earthy level even, okay? Earth signs. Because I'm connecting very much with this, I'm going to show you anyway, even though you can't see it, Harley, this image of the Empress and her bounty, and the bounty of your unconditional love and what you have to offer for yourself and the others around you. I'm feeling a greater sense of community with you guys, whereas the fire signs was all about self-love and really opening up within themselves this unconditional love. For you guys, I'm feeling this sense of community and this sense of nurturing. Nurturing the whole, okay? Providing the bounty like the earth does, okay? This is overcoming that very, that ego, sort of egocentric way of living where we are in competition. And that, I feel like with the prince, or I'm sorry, not the prince, the page of swords here, that's feeling to me like a younger, less mature version of ourselves. Now we are actually maturing and up-leveling into this state of nurturance of ourselves, of our lives, of our families, of our communities. There's a sense of responsibility here, which actually is joyful and nurturing. It's not that sense of drudgery. Sorry about that. We have the Prince of Pentacles showing up. And I feel like this is you. I feel like this is that nurturance, that building. You're building community. Some of you are becoming involved on an activism scale. And so if that's you, then you should definitely check out the channeled message I posted on Sunday night, which is a message for indigos. And it talks about how we indigos, who are built to be activists, basically built to fight, must begin to fight from the position of unconditional love and unity consciousness, and not allow the frustration, the rage, the hate that can really develop through seeing the way that things happen in the world and the injustice in the world, to overtake what we're doing, because we are here to do a specific job in a specific way as light workers. So do check that out, because I'm feeling the same thing for you, that with this nurturance, with this unconditional love, this expansive behavior, you're not acting out of this like need to compete, need to not necessarily overcome, but need to fight. You know, it's a different kind of fighting that we're called to do now. You don't have to like your opponent, but let's stop seeing them as opponents if we can. Let's begin to see them as a necessary part of the whole. And here is the kicker: a reflection of you. Even if you don't agree with them, even if their views are absolutely abysmal, there is a piece of you within you, okay? There's a piece of our society, there's a piece of our world, there's a piece of ourselves which is holding that belief, and that is how it is possible for it to express itself out in the whole, okay? And so we need to view it as a part of the whole, view it as a part of ourselves, view it as our shadow, and undertake the work within our communities as we would shadow work, with unconditional love, with acknowledgement. And I'm simply getting the vision right now of the sun like spotlighting and shining down on a group of people, as if it's simply bringing awareness to them. And that's going to be those that are being marginalized and disenfranchised. And that's also going to be those who in some way are either wounded enough or afraid enough to hold the belief that a certain group of people should be marginalized. And I'm not saying that we need to empathize with them necessarily or even understand it, but we need to bring the light of the sun to it, the awareness of it, so that we can begin as a society to integrate it, to change it, to turn it around. So that was a little bit of a tangent, but I did feel like that is part of where you're going here. Many of you are going in that direction. If not, then I think you can employ the same idea in whatever way it resonates for you, whether it's your personal life, your relationships, your friendships, your work. There is some soul searching that you're going to be doing here with the Hermit coming up. Yeah, okay, with the Four of Pentacles. So it kind of goes back to, what part of you are you holding on to? What's within you that you've been holding on to and not letting go of and grasping so tightly because you're afraid to let it go, because you're afraid to let it be seen? I'm getting the feeling that more than just for us as individuals, this is something hidden in our society that we're grasping onto in our society. I'm hearing it's a deep insecurity within our society, within ourselves, and that's why it is showing up in our society. The need to marginalize others because of our fear. And so the rest of this reading seems to point to the fact that within yourself, you're beginning to see that, recognize it, and begin to break out of it. To feel the sense of wanting to nurture all, as opposed to wanting to marginalize, choke out, and separate, okay? So recognize that within yourself and the places in which you are doing that to yourself, so that it can begin to be eradicated in your outer world. Lots of internal work this week for you guys, even while it appears that you are getting out and being more social. Oops, drop the cards, hang on. Nine of Wands with, what else is going to come up here? Clarify that. Clarify Nine of Wands, please. Clarify Nine of Wands. Eight of Cups and the Chariot. I think that you are absolutely emotionally done with feeling like you need to defend your position, feeling like you need to defend yourself. I feel like there is a lot of growth within you having to do with competition, the rat race, and keeping up with other people, the having to be right, the having to be recognized. I think there's this realization that when we are in a state of unconditional love and support and nurturance of ourselves and others with appropriate boundaries. I'm not saying that you just give and never receive. The Empress always has appropriate boundaries. But when you're in that state, your resources are limitless. Your potential is limitless. Your growth is limitless. When you are in competition with others, you fear that it has a limit, that you need to defend your position because there is not enough. And this is a time of entering the harvest, entering the abundance. Just seeing like vast fields of like wheat and corn and just all of these like carbohydrate type crops, I guess because they're in such abundance. And that is how you are asked to approach the next week or so, is seeing all of life or all of your resources, whatever those might be, as in limitless supply, and they are pointing to unconditional love. That love is in limitless supply. And so there is no need to fear the loss of it or fear the taking away of it. It is okay. It is safe to feel joy. It is safe to feel stability. It is safe to feel comfort and nurturance. It is safe to give nurturance. So, okay. I'm going to end with what do I want to use? I'm kind of feeling my animal spirit cards. I'm going to end with an animal spirit card for you guys, just to tie it all together. So let's get an animal spirit card let's get an animal spirit card specifically for Taurus, please. I'll pull 3. Okay, that was 800. Animal spirit card for Taurus, please. Taurus, armadillo spirit, set healthy boundaries. Set healthy boundaries. And so did I not just say boundaries? As long as your boundaries are safe, as long as your boundaries are healthy. And so in all of this expansion and generosity and abundance, make sure that you are caring for yourself. You are making sure that your cup is full, okay? Let's get a card now for Virgo, please. Card for Virgo. Virgo. Whale spirit. Trust the great mystery. Whale spirit. Trust the great mystery. And so it does kind of relate back to that idea of trusting that there is a limitless supply of unconditional love. And is that not, the great mystery? That is all life is about: the existence of, the giving of, the receiving of unconditional love. That's what it is centered around, and recentering around that at this time. So trust that it is there. Trust the boundless nature of unconditional love. Let's get a card now for Capricorn. Capricorn, please. Eagle spirit. Spirit has your back. Spirit has your back. And so again, it's sort of another message about trust, that Source is 100% in control of the outcome, whatever it is, you know, especially with these ideas of competition and rat race and supply and resources coming up. There may be fears of resources being taken away, or there not being enough, or feeling the need to squirrel things away, or withhold yourself from others, or not share your abundance, especially your unconditionally loving abundance. And trust that if you feel the pull to that energy, then Spirit has your back there. You will not be making yourself vulnerable to destruction, to hurt, to pain. You are opening yourself up to the true experience of joy and love and community. Okay? So I hope this was helpful. I am going to now do a extended reading on Vimeo, so join me there. The link is in the description box below. It will be about romantic relationships for Earth signs for the week ahead. Okay, guys? I thank you so much for being here, and I will talk to you soon. See you on Vimeo. Bye.